Crafting Unscripted with Katherine Learns Stuff. So I want to apologize for last week. When I started broadcasting last week, I thought I saw some sort of a weird display on my screen. It didn't make sense, and I wasn't able to figure it out while we were live. And so as it turns out, what happened was for some reason the chats weren't showing up on my screen. So everybody who was chatting with me last week, I apologize. I was not able to say hello. So hopefully I can not have that issue again today. And I think the problem with that was because of the internet speed. My husband was working from home and sucking up some of the bandwidth here. So I think that was what the problem was. So if you are here with me, drop me a note in the chat and let me know if you are here so that I can actually say hello. And I'm going to try to see what I can see on the screen if anyone says hello. So it takes a few moments for the chats to show up. So hopefully I'll get to see them today. And if I don't, again, I apologize because I don't have control over how all this technology works all the time. So quick housekeeping. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined last week. And I want to say thanks to everyone who has been participating in the Crafting Unscripted and my YouTube channel. Last week I sent off a note about this free card. And if you missed the, sorry about that, that's my sump pump. The snow is all melting, so that's going to go off every once in a while. But this was the free card that I designed last week. Let's just see if I can do a better view here without so much glare. It's still available in my shop if you didn't get the code, which is expired now, but you can still get this in my shop if you'd like. So that's there. I want to also say about 2 minutes ago or 3 minutes ago, I sent out an email to say that the Cardmaker Success Summit is now putting out free tickets, and I'm part of that again. I've designed a cute card for that. I can't tell you what it is just yet. But I can in a few days, so maybe I'll bring it out next week during the Crafting Unscripted there. Hello, Jeannie from North Carolina. Thank you for saying hello. I can see my chat's working today. So we've got some success today, so that's good. I'm excited about that. I don't like it when things don't work. So Cardmaker Success Summit. I've dropped the link down below in the description if you want to get free tickets. So be sure to grab that. That happens in March. So you want to grab those tickets. It's a super awesome card making summit. So if you like making cards, that's just what you need to do. Also in the description below, I still got the link to the Creativepreneur's Agenda Planner. If you haven't grabbed that yet, that expires at the end of the month. So you've got today and tomorrow still. And then also, if you don't have tickets to my live session next week, the crafting, not the Crafting Unscripted one, but the one, my actual live paid one where I provide you with a craft beforehand and all the details, and we work together to make it. I've made a pretty cool cherry blossom project. So if you don't have tickets to that yet, please be sure to grab those. I've got a link to that below as well. So housekeeping done. Let's get started. Okay, so let me change my view here. Okay, so this here, believe it or not, used to be a bookmark, and somebody had a bookmark in my house. Can't imagine who, because I've been making 1,000 of them recently. And this kind of fell apart, and so there's some sad children in my house. And so I don't have time to sort of make a new one sort of in all my other things that I'm doing. And I thought this would be a good quick craft for us to do today because not everyone knows how to make tassels for bookmarks, or for whatever other reason you might need a tassel, because I know lots of people use them for like accents to bookmarks, or you can use them for embellishments, or for embroidering, or for knitting, or for 1,000 other things. So we're going to make some bookmark tassels today. And I've got, so let me pull this pile of junk here because this is not being reused, sadly for my children. But I'm not going to be organizing all of that. And so what I've got here is I've got a few different things. I've got like a pile of yarn from craft projects that we had at our house that never got finished. And so I've got all this yarn. And I've also got these like floss things, as people use this for like cross stitch or embroidering, or even making bracelets. So I got a lot of this in my house because we do lots of crafts here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 different types of bookmarks. Was that not in the screen there? This is like just crafty stuff. So we're going to make 2 different types of bookmarks. We're going to make some thin ones with this stuff so that you can see what they look like with this. And then we're going to make some with this stuff here. Now there's a whole lot of different ways that you can make tassels, not bookmarks. We're not doing bookmarks. Focus here. Sorry. So we're not doing bookmarks. We are doing tassels. So we're going to do a pink one because pink is a color. I've got this one nicely organized here for me. And then we're also going to do this one here, but we're going to do yellow in the hopes of replacing the yellow one that broke. So there's lots of different ways to do this. If you are not technically challenged like me, you could open this little fancy case. All right, let's do yellow. So everything is tangled up. Perfect. All right, let's make more of a mess over there. I'll deal with that later. So last week we talked about messes when you're crafting, and some people said that they like to clean up right away. Some people do it afterwards. I try to clean up right away if I can. It doesn't always work. So right now I've got a big pile of stuff at the side over here where that is going to be growing. And we'll get rid of this stuff here so we don't have too much space taken up on our spot. And so I try to clean up. My floor, though, is a complete disaster. And someone else mentioned in the comments last week that their floor is also a disaster. And so I have a feeling that my screen is totally messed up here. I don't know what's going on. So hopefully the screen is right size, because if it's not, I must really apologize because something looks wrong here. Just let me change my views. Sorry, I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully this is recording properly. Anyways, so my floor is a disaster typically, but what you gonna do? But I wanted to ask quickly while I'm starting this craft off, what is your favorite crafting material? So like, do you like to use paper crafts or vinyl crafts or canvas, or what is it that you like to do, just to sort of give me some things to chat with you about while we're here in the live? And that's sort of part one of my questions. So let me know what you like to work with. I don't know if I have a favorite. I think my favorite is probably paper right now because I have so much of it and I'm trying to make my way through it. So I think that paper is my favorite craft right now. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start off doing with this thing here. Now you can use this whole sleeve of floss to make a tassel, and it will be kind of like that thickness, or you can use less. The choice is yours. I'm going to actually do less than that because I don't want to have the bookmark tassel super huge so that it falls off and kind of goes crazy. So I'm just going to be pulling out this edge here, and I'm going to use my fingers to wrap around because I don't have any cardboard or a fork. You can use whatever you want, but I'm going to use 4 fingers, and I'm going to try to keep this on camera if I can. And I'm going to start my first rung down at the bottom here so that it's kind of hanging off here. And I'm going to go around like 20 times. And what I'm going to find is funny is probably by the end of this craft, I will have used this whole thing, which I said I wasn't going to do. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Woo! Almost all the way. So we still have a little bit of this left, so we're good. And the tassel is going to be kind of that thickness. And I think that's good because I don't need to make this too heavy because it's going on a bookmark. And if it's too heavy, it's going to rip the bookmark and pull that all apart. Now, I have scissors here somewhere. When you're doing bookmark tassel, I should say tassels. Stop saying bookmarks, Catherine. When you're making tassels or working with fabrics, you want to use sharp scissors. So I've got my sharp scissors today, not my not sharp scissors. Okay, so the part 1 here is done. I'm going to try to place this so that it doesn't fall apart or cause too much chaos. All right. Now, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab this here, and we're going to make this about 2 times. Paper crafts is my favorite right now. Paper crafts, good job, Jeannie. I hope I'm saying your name right. Paper crafts is good. I like paper crafts. I have so much paper, it's not funny. And so, where was I? So I'm going to make this piece here about this long maybe, just because I'm not going to do this. I've seen some people do this and I'm not good at this second part. So I'm going to do this the Catherine way because it's for my kids and it's okay if there's a knot visible. And maybe we'll be able to hide it later. So I'm just going to make this kind of this length here. So just a little bit longer than my actual tassel so that it can hang off the side. Maybe that's too long. Maybe we want it just like this. Or maybe a little bit shorter. I don't want it to be too long because if it's too long, it's going to fly all over the place and cause havoc on the bookmark as well. All right, No, we're going to try this differently. So we've got this here now, and I'm just thinking I don't like the way that's going to look. So we've got this little piece here, and I want to tie a knot into this, kind of an inch up here. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle. I'm sorry if my face is off the screen as well. This is trying to focus. So I'm going to tie a little knot here, like so. And if this works, we will all be super impressed with my knot tying skills, because I'm terrible at knots most of the time. Okay, so it kind of worked out. I'm just going to pull this piece here, which is stuck somewhere. And Siri, stop listening. Okay, so that's going to go there. And I'm going to try, folks, I'm going to try here to put this one here and this one here. And now I'm going to tie a knot in this guy underneath. And I'm going to do a double knot. I'm going to see if I can put this in a spot where we can actually see what I'm doing. And I have to admit, I'm probably the worst person in the world to make knots, because I have, for some reason, like the biggest struggles with this. I don't know why, but I do. And I'm going to try to put the knot kind of in the center here, not up at the top where it seems to want to go. And I'm going to squish this tight a little bit over here, and I'm going to tie a knot again. Whew. All right, we did it. It's kind of underneath. So we're just going to massage this a little bit to hide that knot. So now we don't have a knot showing on this side, which is kind of what I'm going for. And those bits that I had in here earlier are hiding in here somewhere, so that's good. The next thing that we want to do, after I have some more tea, and I want to apologize again, my sump pump's going to go off in about 30 seconds because I can hear the water dripping behind me. We had all that snow a few weeks ago, and it decided to get like +10 for the last 3 days. So the 3 feet of snow that we had is like melting at an astronomical speed, and everything is melting, and the snow is now gone almost, and I have a big puddle growing around everywhere, so it's melting and going to my sump pump. So now I've got to have another piece of thread here, and I'm going to wrap this guy around like so a bunch of times. Now, no, we're going to do a little bit. We're going to try this. We're going to see if this works. I'm going to put a little loop here, if I can. I'm not succeeding at this loop. It's not cooperating. I'm sorry. So I feel like when I'm trying to tie knots, my skin, my hands and my fingers just don't want to cooperate. Oh, come on, really? All right, well, let's pretend that that worked. It didn't. Okay, so let's try making another knot, another loop, because I clearly am dysfunctional. So as I was saying, I'm not good at making knots for some reason. I always seem to like, all right, we're not going to do this because that didn't work out again. I don't know what's going on, but we're just going to try this differently. We're going to grab a piece of thread here because I'm live, and so I can barely do knots when I'm not live, and so doing them live is just not happening. So I'm going to hold this one side up here so it's kind of out of the way, and I'm going to wrap this around here. And as is expected, what is going on? Catherine, we can do this. Focus here. I think I'm going to need to tape something down here because this is just not cooperating. We're going to wrap this guy around. And I want it to be like a little bit off the edge here, but maybe not. And so I'm going to keep wrapping this around. And I'm wrapping this loose because I'm having issues today with my hands and working with string. So we are just going to try to get this to work. So I'm going to pull this tight. Hopefully my camera's going to stay focused, and nope, it's not going to cooperate. Okay, so come on. Clearly I have issues today. This is just not, this was supposed to be a simple craft, but again, you know, not everything always works out. So I've got this kind of lined up here, and now I'm going to tie this into a knot. Now I don't like knots showing, but as you saw earlier, my attempt to make a loop to hide the knot didn't work. When we're doing the next tassel, which is going to be with this like yarn stuff, maybe it'll work better. I doubt it, but we can try it. So it's tied in a knot twice here. I'm just going to shimmy this up a little bit and pull these pieces down so that it kind of looks a little bit nicer. And so this has actually turned out moderately decent, because what's happened is these bits here from my knot are the same length as my my tassels will be, so we're in luck. This is going to kind of disappear in there. And so if I'm lucky, nobody will notice that is there. So I need to think I change my face camera, because I'm bending down too low and you only see my forehead, so I apologize for that. Okay, so we've got this now, and what we're going to do is we have a few options. I've got this here from before, and I'm just going to repurpose this, because it's actually, if you pull this through here like so, maybe if we pull this through, if the yarn gods work with me, I'm going to pull this through here. Of course, we're going to pull it too far. And so when we're giving everything sort of a nice tug, if you use this as your measurement to cut, this will actually give you a nice straight line. Now, of course, one bit always doesn't cut properly. And now, boom. Ah, we got a tassel. Okay, well, I'm not sure what's happening with my hands today, folks. I'm really sorry. So there was a tassel. And like, let me just grab a bookmark that I made a few weeks ago. So I made these bookmarks a few weeks ago for Valentine's Day for my kids. And they didn't like these like super simple tassels that I had. So, and the one that just broke. So I made this one here. Let's just, so all we're going to do with this is, of course, it's not going to cooperate with my fingers today. We're just going to loop this through like so. Ta-da! And there's a tassel on a bookmark. Now I'm going to do one more with this just to show you the difference between what it looks like if you're using this floss stuff and if you're using yarn. And so bear with me for a few seconds while we redo this craft. I just got to find an end on this guy. Now realistically I could probably just use this whole thing, but that's way too much yarn to be like useful. That's going to be a massive bookmark. So just bear with me for a second as I rip this whole thing apart and try to find an end, because no ends are visible. And so this piece of yarn has no ends, as it turns out. There we go. Found one. Okay, so same idea. We're going to go 20 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I think I'm just going to go 10 because that's pretty thick. All right, let's do 20. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Whew, that's going to be a thick one. I think that's too much. We're going to take 5 loops out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 loops out. I think that's better because that's super, super thick. And now my yarn is on the floor where it's conveniently going to make more of a mess on my floor. And we're going to do sort of the same thing as before. We're going to try to cut this so that I don't, sorry, I need that still. I don't want it on the floor. And so again, we're going to do this thing here. We're going to do like a little loop here. We're going to try to make a loop in my tassel so that I can attach it to my bookmark later. Okay, and we're going to pull one piece through here again, and we're going to try to find the other end over here, and we're going to tie this into a knot. Now, of course, as I'm using a thicker, less cooperative fabric, let's call it a fabric, the knots appear to be working more cooperatively. Go figure. And we're going to do one more knot in here so that this stays put. If I can find it. I spoke too soon. Things are no longer cooperating. Everything is going all over the place. Okay, that's all right. Tie that in there. Okay, all right, so we got our tassel bit here, and we've got this here, and we're gonna get another piece here, and we're going to try and looping this again. We're going to do the same unsuccessful method we did last time, where we're going to just wrap this around and hope that this turns out the way it's supposed to. And too many times. This is really thick and it does not look good that thick. And now we're just going to pull and everything is going to fall apart, just like practice. And we're going to tie a knot in here, if we can, without everything falling apart. Give it a good squish. And another good squish. And we're just going to trim this down here. So these long bits, So my scissors are sharp. I might need a Band-Aid for that later. So I apologize for that. Okay, so this one's done as well. And I'm going to, again, I don't have a nice, like, because I destroyed this thing here. So now I'm just going to try to find the center here and cut these pieces open. If I had better luck with some things, that wouldn't have turned out so terrible. And so you'll notice this one's kind of like all funky looking here. And so we're going to try to pull this knot down a little bit better. And we're just going to squish this in between my fingers, maybe these fingers. This one's already bleeding, so if I cut it again, it's like no problem, right? It's all one injury instead of 3 different fingers cut up. Okay, we've got this, and we're just going to trim this straight, because we all know our fingers are super straight when we bend them like this. And there's a second tassel. So you've got like a fun tassel, which is nice and thin, and then we've got more of a charismatic tassel for that. So let me grab the quick another bookmark here, because there was a few left over after Valentine's Day, because nobody told me how many kids they had in their class until after the project was done, but that's okay. And then we're going to put this one not matching, because I'm not sure, well, maybe it'll match, just to show us what they look like. And there's that tassel. All right, so those are our 2 tassels. I like this one better. It turned out pretty good. So I think someone will be happy with that. So I think we've got the craft finished today. Let me know in the comments below or in the chat if you're still here, if you enjoyed this project. I quickly wanted to just remind you, in the description below, you can get tickets to the Cardmaker Success Summit, which is happening in March. Those are for free. You can get tickets to my next live session, which is actually next Thursday. So it's after this Crafting Unscripted live session. It's another one, but it's paid. You get a craft included with it, the SVG designs, and I believe I've also made PNGs with it as well. And we are making a pretty cool cherry blossom project. So there's that. You've got this card is still available in my shop. There's lots of other things available in my shop. We've got Shelly's Creativepreneur planner is there as well in the description below. So quick question for you, and I might not get to see the answer on the screen here in the live chat, but I am trying to figure out what to do maybe next week. And so I have a dog, and he's been sick recently, and I'm sort of a little bit concerned that this may be approaching sort of sad times. And so what I was thinking of doing maybe next week is starting to come up with ideas or sort of thoughts on how to like make like a memorabilia thing about your pet. So let me know in the comments below if anyone is interested in something like that, or if you have any pet idea projects that you would like to do. So I'll probably be in that kind of a mood depending on how things go here at the house. So there's that. And if you have any other ideas of what you would like to do, please be sure to let me know in the comments or in the chats, or even send me an email. My email, you can, I think my email is, you can email me at Katherine@katherinelearnstuff.com, and I will answer those suggestions as well. So please be sure to let me know what you think, if you've got any suggestions. And I think that's all we have for today. So I want to thank everyone for joining me live, and thanks for everyone for being part of the chat, and we will see you again next week. Happy crafting!